Fudo is a gloomy loser who thinks he's tougher than you inside your own mom. But everything changes the moment he transfers into an academy packed with weapon-wielding girls who initially want to slice off his hot dog, yet somehow end up wanting to devour it instead. At the top of this intimidating academy is a group of elite girls known as the Five Supreme Swords. Their leader, Rin, gathers them for an emergency meeting to talk about a dangerous new transfer student, a delinquent named Fudo. Like every other guy who's tried enrolling here, he's labeled as a pervert. But Fudo is built different. This is the same guy who hospitalized 40 students at his last school. Suddenly, a chaotic girl named Amu bursts into the room and says she's fought him before. The others suggest she go another round, but Rin insists on disciplining Fudo herself. Amu warns her to be cautious, especially of Fudo's mysterious spirit bullet. Meanwhile, Fudo arrives at the school and quickly realizes that every girl is armed to the teeth. He's immediately greeted by Masuk, a flamboyant dude wearing full makeup, who explains that any guy in this academy has to cross-dress to fit in. But Fudo isn't about that life. He's a full-on libertarian in a totalitarian school. When he enters the classroom, Rin and her squad are already waiting to ambush him. They surround him and explain how this former all-girls school is now co-ed, and to keep the girls safe, they've been given permission to carry weapons. The Supreme Swords are the top 5 girls allowed to wield blades, making them the school's enforcers. Basically, any delinquent sent here is meant to be reformed or broken. Fudo, of course, laughs this all off. They tell him to either dress like a girl like Masuk or get the hell out. Instead, Fudo chooses chaos. He insults them all, saying they belong on the streets, which only fuels Rin's rage. She gives him until the bell rings to surrender, but Fudo's already gone. He teleports under a girl's skirt. Yeah, that happened. Then jumps to the window, distracting them by yelling that her underwear is purple. While they're all flustered, he bolts. Rin chases after him to finish what she started, and up in a nearby classroom, another Supreme Sword named Tsukuyo hears the commotion and asks her underling Nono to open the window. When Nono does, she sees Rin and Fudo actually going head-to-head in a duel. Down below, Fudo dodges Rin's relentless attacks, and they both end up admiring each other's skills. But Rin dials it up and slashes Fudo's cheek. He calmly pulls out a pair of gloves and begins dodging her like a Dark Souls pro, until she pushes him up against a tree and tries to end it quickly. The other Supreme Swords watch, impressed but anxious. Will Rin finish him off before the bell rings? Just as Rin goes in for the final blow, Fudo slips under her guard and touches her mid-fight. While Rin is confident in her sword, Fudo reveals he's carrying a different kind of weapon, the Second Amendment. He unleashes a brutal counterattack with his bare hand, overwhelming her and stunning everyone watching. Rin, still clinging to her pride, tries to get up, but Fudo stops her and demands to know who told her about the spirit bullet. That's when Nono arrives and smacks Fudo in the head, causing him to fall on Rin and accidentally kiss her, destroying her precious mask. Fudo and Nono immediately blame each other, while Rin rises with fury in her eyes, trying to hide her tears. With trembling rage, she swears she'll turn his meatballs into mush. Later, after a shower, Nono is approached by another Supreme Sword, Mary, who tells her that since Rin failed to discipline Fudo, she wants a shot at it herself. Just as Mari prepares to step in and face Fudo, her younger sister Choka barges in, claiming she'll be the one to defeat him and rise as the next member of the Five Swords. While Choka and Nono argue over who gets the honor of destroying Fudo, Mari simply excuses herself for a relaxing bath. Meanwhile, Fudo is already in the bathhouse with Masuko and their chubby sidekick. Fudo wants to know how to get an off-campus pass. Masuko explains that he'll need a special permit signed by all 5 elite members of the academy. But given that he just pissed off every single one of them, the chances of that happening are 0. Fudo gets a headache just thinking about it, and Masuko rattles off a list of items they can get on campus. But Fudo's thinking bigger. He wants something from outside. Masuko immediately knows what he's after. While others request fresh vegetables or vibrating carrots, all Fudo wants is cake. The next day, he shows up to class carrying cake like it's nothing. But the girls all keep their distance, terrified of what this beast might do to their sweet cheeks. Fudo tries asking Miss Purple Panties about Rin, but she shuts him down fast. He then asks another student, who spills the beans. Rin's been bedridden with a fever ever since Fudo violated her lips the other day. Back in her room, Rin tosses and turns in a fever dream of her tragic childhood. She blames Fudo's dry lips for her illness, and the fact that he didn't kiss her long enough. After all, her first kiss was supposed to be special. Suddenly, she senses someone at her window. It's Fudo, and he brought cake. She lunges at him, but Fudo doesn't fight back. Instead, he gets close, too close, and her temperature spikes even more. Still flustered from his unfathomable soul energy, she quietly accepts the cake. When he calls her cute and suggests she stop hiding behind the mask, Rin folds like a paper crane. Fudo then casually asks for the permit. Rin says it's reserved for well-behaved students, not womanizing punks like him. But Fudo turns up the charm and jokes that if she gives him the pass, he'll take her out on a date. The poor girl short-circuits and actually agrees, then promptly passes out from the flirt overload. Just as Fudo's holding her upright, Nono walks in, misreading the situation entirely. She triggers the dorm's lockdown protocols, and Fudo narrowly escapes a series of deadly traps. But freedom is short-lived. He immediately runs into Choka and her trusty whip. She introduces herself as Mari's sister and the head of the Junior Five Swords. Nono shows up again, calling Choka a spoiled brat and claiming she's the real leader. The two start bickering before joining forces to attack Fudo. Forced to fight, Fudo dons his gloves. As the girls compete for his defeat, they explain he's now undergoing a level 2 correction. Basically, a 2v1 beatdown that would be most guys' idea of a dream come true. Only one person has ever survived it, a terrifying transfer student known as the Empress. Despite their efforts, Fudo blocks Nono's attack and uses Choka's own whip to counter her. He tells them straight up, they're losing because they're not working together. He then pulls his classic move, the spiritual bullet. He flings Nono into Choka, leaving both girls exposed. As he approaches, they instantly remember what happened to Rin and start crying, begging him not to conquer their sweet cheeks next. Fudo freaks out, but the damage is done. The watching girls immediately label him as the next predator. Later, while heading back to his dorm, Fudo is surprised when Rin shows up and silently hands him the signed permit. She reminds him that she always keeps her promises. As he walks off, two girls confront Rin to tell her something urgent, so shocking that her fever returns on the spot and she collapses again. Meanwhile, Choka is being scolded by Mari for losing to Fudo, and Mari is now hellbent on revenge for her sister. The next morning, as Fudo enters class, Rin is waiting at the door with the fury of 1,000 suns. The rest of the students stare daggers at Fudo. No one wants to accidentally get pregnant just by being near the guy who seduced both Toka and Nono in one night. After everything that had happened, Rin firmly declares that from now on, she will personally supervise Fudo. That same night, Choka pays a visit to Mary to express her concerns about Fudo, venting that he's unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Mary, however, reassures her that she has a plan to make that weirdo laugh like never before. But then, Choka shares something that Mary wasn't expecting. Rin has become Fudo's official supervisor. Hearing this, Mary gets visibly irritated, not because she disagrees with the idea, but because she had hoped to profit off of Fudo herself. Meanwhile, Fudo is relaxing with a new issue of Lana Rhodes Monthly, completely unfazed. Masuko warns him that after the whole ordeal with Nono and Choka, he's likely made it to the blacklist of both Rin and Mary. Fudo then asks about the mysterious Empress, who allegedly defeated both girls. Masuko explains that the Empress effortlessly crushed them with hand-to-hand combat, her hands sharper than blades. This sparks something in Fudo. He remembers his own past and suspects the Empress might be an old enemy of his. The next morning, Rin wakes up to begin her new duty as Fudo's overseer. When Fudo tries to explain the misunderstanding between him and Nono and Choka, Rin immediately cuts him off and says she already knows what really happened. Soon after, Mary and Choka show up smoking, and Mary casually mentions a rumor she heard, that Fudo has been going around clapping cheeks and eating cake. Rin defends him, saying she'll personally make sure nothing inappropriate happens. But Mary isn't convinced and accuses Rin of being biased, ever since Fudo claimed both her upper and lower lips. Fudo, not wanting any part in their argument, backs away. But as Mary prepares to duel Rin, she commands Choka to chase after Fudo. Choka whips out her signature whip and lashes at him. In response, Fudo quickly pulls off his belt and uses it to deflect the whip. However, the fight takes an unexpected turn when Choka suddenly passes out after catching a glimpse of what's underneath Fudo's waistband. Looking down, Fudo realizes that she accidentally saw his jingling. He hastily adjusts himself, but the damage is done. At that moment, Fudo comes across the Empress, Amo. He's taken aback by her resemblance to someone from his past, a male opponent he once faced, also named Amo. Fudo accuses her of having transitioned during a journey to China, calling her a ladyboy, but Amo corrects him. Although their names are the same, she's not the person he once knew. Just as Fudo is about to throw hands, Mary arrives, wide-eyed after witnessing the sheer power of Fudo's Elizabeth Eagle. Choka, still trembling from what she saw earlier, threatens to bite it off, but vanishes before anything happens. Later, Amo finds herself alone in the auditorium, reflecting on her first encounter with Fudo. Back then, she had wiped out his entire squad and asked him to join her. He refused, responding with a devastating spiritual bullet. Even as her hand pierced through his body, she offered him another chance to side with her, but he retaliated with another attack. With no other choice, she delivered a final blow. But now, as she remembers the moment she hesitated, she punches a nearby statue, disgusted at the idea she might have felt sympathy for him. Tsukuyo is sitting in class when she hears the sounds of a fight breaking out between Mary and Fudo. Mary's relentless strikes manage to slice through Fudo's gloves. Tsukuyo begins narrating the scene as if for a pro wrestling broadcast. Both she and Fudo realize that Mary's blade is sharper and more dangerous than Rin's, making it much harder for him to defend against. Mary continues pressing the attack and eventually draws blood. Meanwhile, Rin corners Choka, demanding to know Fudo's location. Lost in thought about his glizzy, Choka absent-mindedly reveals where the battle is taking place. Back in the fight, Fudo puts everything on the line. He allows himself to be stabbed but uses Lana Rhodes' magazine as a shield, blocking Mary's blade. She jumps back to regroup, but Fudo takes advantage of the distance, slamming the magazine into her head. Now within range, he unleashes his ultimate move, his spiritual bullet, sending Mary flying. Bruised and defeated, Mary begs Fudo to end her misery gently. She assumes, just like the other girls, that her loss means he's going to grab her chest and turn her into another of his groupies. But Fudo refuses, shocking her. His rejection makes Mary feel unwanted and ugly. Frustrated, she outright offers to swallow his glizzy. But again, he turns her down, saying he doesn't like being forced to juggle anyone's jugs. He just wants the authorization stamp. Trying to be playful, Mary puts the stamp in a very questionable spot, somewhere most men wouldn't mind suffocating. Fudo's monkey brain kicks in, tempted by the heavenly pillows in front of him, but he grits his teeth and pulls himself back together. Just then, Rin appears from behind, glaring in disbelief at what she's seeing. Back on campus, Fudo is just trying to enjoy his lunch when Rin and Mari suddenly begin arguing in front of him. Again, the topic? Who gets to supervise his golden pickle? As tensions rise, Fudo tries to calm them down by saying he can almost see their roast beef through their uniforms. That does the opposite of help. Meanwhile, Warabi returns from her break, expecting a calm welcome, only to find chaos. Rin and Mari are mid-catfight over Fudo, accusing each other of trying to chop his glizzy into cocktail sausages after he insulted them for smelling like seafood. Disgusted, Warabi storms off. Later that day, Warabi posts a disciplinary review of Fudo on the student council board. She declares that due to Mari and Rin's overwhelming obsession with supervising Fudo's glizzy, both must be disciplined. Satori, being the only other present council member, supports her judgment, quietly thrilled to see the drama unfold. Next up, gym class. Something catches everyone's attention. Fudo turns to see a horrifying scene. Masuko, his chubby friend, has been crucified on display like a cautionary tale. Before Fudo can help him, Mari and Rin stop him. That's when Warabi appears on the rooftop, fully embracing her role as the school's supervillain. She announces the launch of a personal crusade to become the Academy's top disciplinary officer, calling her plan the Blood Festival. Her first target? Fudo. According to Warabi, Masuko was punished not only for being rounder than the Michelin Man, but also for hiding her Sacred Mia Khalifa magazines. She challenges Fudo to a tournament of trials. Beat them all and Masuko goes free, and he gets her approval stamp for an exit permit. Water rains down on the field, clearing the crowd of normies, leaving only the chosen fighters. Then Warabi summons her elite squad, the self-proclaimed Three Musketeers of UAB, who now have the blessing of both Warabi and Satori to fight Rin and Mari. The games begin with a sumo tournament. Fudo is excited, thinking it'll be a friendly challenge, but Rin and Mari warn him that if Warabi's involved, things will be far from normal. They remind him that last time Warabi ran games, she nearly burned the school down playing tag with fire and gasoline. The musketeers toss sumo belts to everyone. Rin and Mari are expected to wear them tight. Nono and Choka rush in to defend their big sisters, but the musketeers wipe the floor with them, forcing Rin and Mari to step in themselves. Fudo finishes putting on his belt and turns to help the girls with theirs. He pulls Rin's up first, yanking it snug, maybe too snug, prompting her to let out some happy noises. Then he moves on to Mari, adjusting hers in a slightly colder manner, which annoys her. She demands equal treatment next time. With belts secured, the fighters stand before a live audience of cameras broadcasting across the school. But then Fudo's opponent steps into the ring, none of the musketeers. No, it's Warabi's bear, now dressed in a sumo belt. Rin and Mari warn him that this isn't a joke. Warabi declares if they beat her bear, only one of the girls will have to fight. Accepting the challenge, Fudo steps forward and declares himself a bear slayer. With a dramatic flick of her soda bottle, Warabi starts the match. The bear charges. Fudo barely dodges its monstrous swipes and strikes back with his spirit bullet, direct hit to the gut, but the bear just snarls and keeps coming. Fudo throws punch after punch while dodging like a pro boxer. As he wrestles the beast, he begins taunting Warabi, calling her chest flatter than plywood and praising Rin and Mari's divine pillows. Then, noticing a weakness, he flips the bear onto its back and loosens its sumo belt, exposing the beast and disqualifying it. Victory. Warabi throws a tantrum on the rooftop, screaming about her lost pride. But Fudo doesn't care. He rushes to untie Masuko and embraces his chunky brother in arms. Just as they think it's over, the doors slam shut. Warabi and her team have vanished, but she announces over the PA that the game isn't done. She tells Fudo to meet her on the rooftop, alone. After Warabi challenges them to meet on the rooftop, her subordinates lie in wait to ambush Fudo. The girls warn him it's a trap, but after everything they've done to Fatty McFat, Fudo doesn't care anymore. Despite his protests, the girls refuse to let him face this alone. They're still determined to guard his golden glizzy. As they change into their battle outfits, Fudo grows impatient and walks in on them, only to be immediately launched through the air. Just then, Nono and Choka catch up to him and, before the chaos begins, make a small request. Later, the real battle kicks off. Nono and Choka take on Warabi's underlings while Fudo and the others push forward. As the sisters hold their ground, Fudo encourages their resolve. This mission is what matters most. Suddenly, Satori bursts through the door ahead, blocking their path. With a crazed look in her eyes, she walks right up to Fudo, not to fight, but to make it crystal clear. She absolutely hates his guts. Elsewhere on the rooftop, Warabi notices someone is sneaking in to rescue Fatty McFat. Fudo eventually makes it to the rooftop, but before backup can join him, Warabi accuses his girls of already sharing his glizzy. Tensions flare. As the girls prepare to fight, Warabi releases her secret weapon again, the bear. This time, she tells it not to hold back. Meanwhile, the three musketeers rush up the stairs to reinforce Warabi. Mari steps up to stop them herself, leaving Rin and Fudo to face the final showdown. Fudo takes on the bear, only to find it fighting like a professional boxer straight out of Tekken. Rin clashes with Warabi but is caught off guard and sliced across the shoulder. Warabi mocks her for being weak ever since she started devouring Fudo's sausage. Rin falters, her confidence shaken. But just as defeat looms, Fudo delivers an inspiring speech, reminding them that he still hasn't properly thanked them. Fired up by the power of plot armor, the girls enter beast mode. Fudo dodges a powerful swipe from the bear and counters with a knockout punch worthy of Mike Tyson. Down below, Mari decimates the musketeers with ease, leaving a trail of bodies in her wake. Back on the roof, Rin regains her confidence, effortlessly dodges Warabi's next strike, and lands a clean finishing blow. Nono and Choka arrive just in time to witness their sister's victory. Fudo congratulates them all and asks for help tying up Warabi, only to get glared at, the girls assuming he's got something pervy in mind. Days later, after Fudo compliments her looks, Rin shows off her new mask. Nono gushes over how cute it is. Meanwhile, Mari uses a new perfume, and even Choka approves of the scent. But when the two girls arrive at school, they find Fudo swarmed by girls. Now everyone wants his babies after he defeated Warabi and her boxing bear. Throughout the day, the girls stick to him like glue. Rin and Mari even sit beside him at lunch with intense back-off faces. But after school, Fudo heads home without complimenting either of them. Rin is disappointed he didn't notice her new uniform, and Mari fumes that he didn't mention her fragrance. Over dinner with their sisters, they agree they must take drastic steps to keep Fudo from being claimed by someone else. That night, as Fudo sleeps, an unknown figure sneaks into his room. The next morning, he meets Mari and Rin as usual. This time, he does compliment them, Mari for her divine scent and Rin for her adorable new look. But before he can leave, the girls demand an inspection. Rin reaches into his pants and pulls out a mysterious photo. Fudo thought it was a lucky surprise, but now she's threatening to bite it. Mari is stunned when she sees it too, Fudo apparently receiving the sweet, juicy gift of Satoru's pom-pom. The girls instantly go feral, attacking Fudo with furious jealousy. With no way to explain himself, Fudo bolts as they chase him through the halls. Cornered near the courtyard, he runs into Warabi and her bear. Sensing danger from both sides, Fudo pleads for help. Shockingly, Warabi sides with him. Once the angry girls are gone, Fudo thanks the bear and Warabi casually drops the bomb. Even her bear has fallen for him. Fudo explains the situation, and Warabi laughs it off, until he realizes something from the photo. His glizzy didn't salute. It must have been a fake. His new plan? Infiltrate the girls' dorm to find the original photo data. Warabi asks how he'll get inside. Easy, he says he'll let himself get caught. Later, after getting caught red-handed, Fudo is restrained by Mari and Rin, tortured for what he supposedly did to Satori. Nono and Choka help hold him down. But when Rin smacks him too hard, it rips his shirt and exposes a giant scar on his back. The girls freeze, stunned. Just as they're about to leave, Warabi bursts in, cuts him loose, and feeds him a healing bread roll. Warabi offers to help with the infiltration, especially since Satoru is out of the dorm. Together with her bear, they sneak into Satoru's room. Fudo starts being a little too curious, licking her toothbrush. They find nothing until Warabi realizes Satoru is probably still in the bath. Before heading out, she warns Fudo, Satori is absolutely insane. In the hallway, Fudo trips a trap and nearly gets skewered. Two girls arrive to investigate, but only see Warabi and her bear. Fudo hides in front of the bear, but something squishy presses against him. The bear begins making happy noises. Confused, Fudo keeps pressing. The bear reacts harder until it screams and collapses. As the girls nearly discover them, a baby bear distracts them, giving the group time to vanish. Fudo asks about the cub, and Warabi proudly reveals her bear, Kyubu, just had a baby. Fudo praises the mom bear, only for Warabi to trigger another trap. But this time, Fudo is ready. He uses his spiritual bullet to block it and gets a big "OL, thank you" lick from the bear. They reach the bath, and there she is, Satori, in all her unhinged glory, eyes glowing, blade hidden. But before they can act, Misogi, Satori's deadly loyal guard, appears and opens fire. Warabi shields Fudo. Then, from behind, Satori appears, completely naked, sword in hand, grinning like a maniac. Fudo notices a pouch around her neck and realizes what happened. Misogi confirms. They snuck into his room and made Maisuko betray him. Fudo recalls the night. It all comes back. With Maisuko's help, Satori and Misogi infiltrated his dorm. Satori straddled him, heat radiating, and when he stirred, she knocked him out again with a drugged kiss. Elsewhere, Mari's drinking her feelings away, ranting about Fudo being a scumbag. Choka suggests he's just using her for her body, but Mari remembers how he always resisted her chest. Maybe he's not so bad. Meanwhile, Rin is also venting to Nono, but when reminded of Fudo's tongue twister moment, she blushes and storms off to bed. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, leave a comment with bullet and I'll know you're a real one. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more chaotic anime recaps.